Welcome to Museum in Lotus. You know what episode is this? This is the fifth episode. Fifth episode. So actually time passed really fast. I think in the previous 4 episodes, people are starting to get what the concept is of this. We know that Lotus or Water, we actually sell fengshui collections, but first hand, right? Right from the covers into your hands. But there are actually a lot of other collections in the gallery, Master Yun's private collection. And actually over the past few weeks, we have put them to good use. Like the Corella lamp, the mega one. You saw the photos, right? Or last week, Deepavali.
Yes.
Because with Mr. Giuseppe De Giosa, I get your name correct every time. Mr. Pino's, Mr. Pino's guidance and how we use it. So we used it on Deepavali. And they were all very excited. In fact, if you look at it, some of their rings are still there. Some of their rings are still on the entire pillar. And of course, we have that the bells we actually installed in the gallery. So I think this whole series is how we are appreciating all these wonderful collections, not for sale, because they are private collections. So we have Mr. Pino to explain to us, to share with us the knowledge. And my job is to link it and then bring out the beauty of Master Yun's art and other things that you can buy. Then you can see the beauty in this. Correct?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, so friends who are online, they are all typing, good evening, Mr. Khan and Mr. Pino. You know, we should challenge them and ask them to spell your full name.
They can try.
Giuseppe De Giosa.
They can try.
Yeah. Ashley looks like Western and Eastern emperors. I think it's a setting that we have today. Actually, the setting that we have today is the same setting that we have last week. We just changed an angle. We touched briefly on these sets of awesome furniture last week. I'm keeping the same paintings here because I haven't touched on it much yet. Last week, since Thursday, a lot of my clients came here to take a seat on this very comfortable chairs. Today is the day that we are supposed to go deep into this furniture. And a lot of my clients, including myself, we have really fallen in love with this whole set of things here. Some people even ask me how much is this thing going for. Not selling, one more time. Jack is here, like and share, Geraldine, Eileen, Yvonne, Cynthia was here just now. And thank you for liking and sharing, Geraldine as well. And Ashley, Jenny Tan is with us. A cool Tuesday evening to Khan and Mr. Pino. Yeah. Joyce Neo is with us. Yvonne is with us. So if you are here, and please like and share, and you can be like Jack and Yvonne, you can put it into the comments of LNS. LNS is the same thing for like and share. So more people get to know. The feedback so far is that people find this whole series very informative. They are learning things that they have never thought about or never thought about asking. But because of this, then they get to know more. So today, Mr. Pino, the limelight is on this set of chairs and tables that we have here. What's so special about them?
First of all, I like the comment that has just been made. This is an imperial setting.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. And it's a combination of antiques and a combination of modern art, imperial. Let's talk just about these chairs. And when we talk about these chairs, we just have to put them in context of the period they were crafted. And they were actually crafted during the Qing dynasty.
Qing dynasty.
Qing dynasty. And I think it's the later period of the Qing rather than early part of the Qing. Qing basically starts in 1644 and ends in 1911, 1912.
Yeah.
10,
so Qing dynasty started in 1644.
Correct. Now, what's beautiful about these chairs, not only the period in which they were made, in my estimation, they would be around 150 years old.
At least.
At least 150. I would just absolutely bet on the dating of these chairs. Now.
Sorry, 150 years old from today. That means
from today, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That means probably 1850s.
Basically, we're talking about 19th century. Now,
19th
if
century.
it's the beginning, the first 50 years of the 19th century, or slightly after the 1850, it's possible.
Right, it's there about 1850s.
Yes. Correct.
That means that if we put it in England's perspective, it was
Yes.
when Queen Victoria was around.
Absolutely.
It was that age, yeah.
That age.
Okay.
That age. Now, when we look at these chairs, the first thing that I adore about them is the simplicity.
Right.
And it's known in art that the Ming period was at the highest point in terms of purity of the design. And instead, the Qing period is recognized as more elaborate, more rich.
We're talking about the dynasty before Qing Cao and the Ming Cao, the Ming dynasty.
Exactly.
It's more for simplicity and then things are simpler and so on. But Qing dynasty, the Manchurians with the kings,
they
the
are
emperors
told that they were more rich.
Okay.
Now, it may be true, and I have nothing to object, but look at this wonderful pair of chairs. Look at the simplicity of these chairs.
Right.
Look at the wonderful workmanship that utilized to make these beautiful chairs. Now, let's examine the first thing. As we were seated, both Mr. Khan and I were putting our feet on the footrest.
Naturally, huh?
Naturally.
You did not teach me how to sit on this chair, but somehow, when I sit on this chair, I just naturally did this, and the legs were on the pedal, or what do you call it? Yeah.
It's the footrest.
The footrest. My legs were on the footrest.
Now, when we look at the footrest, it's only because of the wearing, gentle wearing of the lacquer, which is, I can understand the type of timber that we have here.
Okay.
And this is elmwood.
Elmwood. E-L-M.
Correct.
Elmwood. Elmwood. If I'm right, in Chinese, it's called yumu.
Yes.
And it's a softwood.
It's a softwood.
All right.
But when we look at this particular wood, it's slightly more than the average. I think it's the top quality of the elm wood that they had in those days.
Right.
Not only because they were going to create something so beautiful, but also because of the structure. Now, this is a very complex structure. First of all, the technique that was used, it's called in English, with a very simple word, mortar and iron. So this was the way that it's defined. Let's go a little bit more in detail.
Okay.
When we look at this, this technique, you can actually see it here. So you would see that this part here would go on top, which is the headrest,
right?
And we would see it outside. So this is the tenon.
Okay.
And this is the part that would basically receive the tenon.
Right.
This is the way it's worked.
So it's joined, actually.
Everything here is joined. I can tell you how many joints and how difficult it is to make this mortar and tenon. Now, when we look at these chairs, we see this beautiful backrest.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's curved, this backrest. But not only the backrest is curved, also when we look at the back splat, it's also curved. And I ask myself, why did they go into the details of curving this back splat? Why? What was the reason? Ergonomic. In those days, they actually knew how to create something extremely comfortable.
And it's because it coincides or it's comfortable for how our backbone is.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So if we look at from the side, a chair like this, we would be able to see the way it's curving, and it's so pleasant when we just sit on it.
Yes.
Now, when we again look at the top, we see that from the top to the bottom, there's only one piece, which I like to call the back foot, one side and the other. This, it's round here, but as we go down, it becomes partly rectangular and partly round, and it goes down all the way.
I didn't notice.
Now, we see that also the seat here, you will see, has the same kind of technique, the mortise and the tenon in 1, 2, 3, and 4 parts. Let's look at the armrest. Look how beautiful this serpentine armrest is. And the reason why it's called serpentine is because it brings good luck. In Chinese, one of the meaning would be good luck. So
serpentine, as in, is like snake?
Snake.
Oh,
Certainly.
okay.
So the beautiful part that you see here, you see that after so many centuries of use, imagine generation after generation, and seated here, feeling so relaxed, so comfortable, you would see that slowly, slowly, the lacquer has just rubbed off from these pieces. Very, very interesting. Now,
I see.
When we look at the front, we see again the support of the armrest from one side and the other, but this again represents the foot, the front foot of the chair. Again, it starts from the bottom, goes through in one piece and ends up here. Finally, we have the apron, which is this. This is called the apron, and it has a little bit of carving here, as you can see, and again, it's fixed within the leg itself. Now, when you imagine that a chair of this age, 150 years minimum, which was created without any glue, any nail, any screw, has held intact, solid. I mean, it's not that heavy, the chair per se, but when you see the solidity and the strength, it's just incredible.
No nails.
No nails.
No screws.
No screw.
That means that this whole set of chairs, more than 150 years.
More than 150 years.
No nails, no screws.
No nails.
It was using that traditional method that Mr. Pino has explained, how it's a bit like, is it a Lego? It's like...
You have defined it in the perfect way.
It's like Lego. In fact, I know that because the Chinese way of architecture, sometimes it's like that. Europeans went to China to find out that why was there an earthquake, or they went to Japan at least to find out why there was an earthquake, but the building withstood because of how it was built, or how it was the things, how they were joined together. No nails, no screws. And why you find very comfortable for the past few days, they have been coming and sitting, and the way they sit, they really feel like, the way they sit, it feels like a king, you know, as if like there's a camera in front, because no one would sit like that. If people were talking, they would sit like opposite each other.
Yes.
So if you sit like this and I sit like this is as if like it's a people's hall, this is a conference, and we are. They do that in the White House.
Yes.
They don't, because of the camera effect, they don't sit face to face. They sit, this is for the camera effect. So there's a bit of the feel to it. So they find it very comfortable because of this whole thing that you were talking about. What was the word again that you used?
This is the back splat, which is ergonomic.
Ergonomic.
The word that is used this day to say that it fits perfectly your body is ergonomic, which is absolutely right. Now imagine, we're talking about chairs of 150 years, but this goes back. The books that have been published on joinery, and in particular Chinese joinery, is just incredible. Not only in the numbers of joinery that they used to do, but how well the pieces over the centuries would stand without any problem. You have mentioned earlier about earthquakes. You're absolutely right.
So we know that one point that Mr. Pino was saying, anyway, you know, I was just saying that they really go and check your name. These people, they really went to LinkedIn to check your name, and someone actually spelled your name correctly.
Thank you. Whoever did that, thank
you
so much.
No one can hide from the internet.
No
anywhere.
one can hide.
So that's this is correct name, right? Giusuppe.
Correct. It's perfect. Well done. Whoever did it, well done.
They're owning several browsers at the same time. Yeah. I was saying that. Okay, so Qing Dynasty, but Qing Dynasty, Qing Cao was, as Mr. Pino explained, was supposed to be more rich and exuberance, you know, all the details and stuff that's going on. Because Qing Dynasty have this thing that's called Jing Tai Lan. I don't know what it's called in English, but it's a mix of lacquer, bronze, and stuff that's very elaborate. This is part of the national treasure thing. But this inherited from the Ming Dynasty. So we can conclude a few things, or we can think about a few things, which is number one, this technique has been around at least since Ming Dynasty.
Before that, I would
say. Before that. And to find a Ming Dynasty style chair in the Qing Dynasty, that makes it rare. Am I correct?
You're absolutely right.
That makes it rarer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that is one thing that makes it even rarer. So talking about ergonomics, there's this chair in Singapore now that's very famous. In fact, the founder of this chair has just got himself a good class bungalow.
Wow.
Yeah, and because everyone works from home now, right?
Yes.
So they buy all this kind of chairs. People complain that, oh, I have backaches. Actually, I think people have backaches not because of the chair, but because we don't exercise enough. But nonetheless, yeah. Nonetheless, the chair, it's called a secret lab chair. Have you heard of it?
No, I've not.
Yeah, not heard of it. It is not sponsored at, he didn't pay me for this thing. Apparently that it can really bend into the whole back thing. I don't know what's going on. But I think that a secret lab chair might spoil faster than this 150-year-old chair.
I would like to see that chairs in 150 years.
I don't think they will exist, yeah.
They won't possibly
I don't think.
exist.
How,
No.
what's your take on this? What kind of weight can this thing hold? It's elm wood, it's a soft wood.
But can I tell you, if you look at the seat, I was just
Yeah.
examining it earlier. When you look at the seat, it's not that thick.
Yeah, it's not that thick, you know?
And then you start thinking, but how can it take the weight?
Yeah.
And it's only because, again, the technique that we've mentioned earlier, here, when I touch it, and when you come here, please do me the courtesy to just turn this chair, touch what you can feel here, and there's a thick wood, again, with the same technique that I've mentioned earlier, and the motor, and which goes from one side to the other. And that's how. I think it will take easily 100 kilos,
Okay.
the seat, without any problem.
I think over the 150 years, different kinds of people have sat on this chair before.
But imagine what they were wearing. Imagine what they were discussing. I mean, I like to think that on these chairs, on this table, maybe they finalize agreements.
Yeah.
Maybe they finalize business. Not everybody possessed chairs like this. It
Okay,
was definitely in a very special environment.
Not everyone would have the chance in Qing Dynasty to have chairs like this.
Yes.
For sure, the majority of the population, they wouldn't be needing chairs like this anyway. So this is definitely a set. We're going to cover a table shortly. This is definitely a set that is placed probably in the study or the main hall or their meeting room, that kind of thing. And it definitely belongs to a family that is well-to-do.
Rich family.
Status. Because in Qing Dynasty, those who are well-to-do, they tend to have status. Or vice versa, you know. Yeah, because there was a time when they have this concept called guansang. That means that the merchants, they also became officials. And they regulated the entire economy and so on. So it belongs to families who have power and status. So actually, this is a status thing. And one more thing you just highlighted, because this thing you have to come and see yourself. This whole, what do you call it, handle? This thing?
Armrest.
Armrest, sorry. I find that it's extremely comfortable, because if we are in this format talking, so probably I will lean towards you. And so I will put my arm here.
Yes.
And it feels perfectly. And it fits perfectly.
Perfectly.
So it's supposed to be shaped like a serpent. Am I right?
Absolutely. And it looks like a serpent.
Yeah.
Now, what does it mean, serpent, in Chinese? It means good luck.
Okay.
Amongst many other meanings, there's good luck.
This serpent, I should have rehearsed with you so I can bring out my collections that has serpent. Serpent means, it fits into exactly what you mentioned just now. Serpent in Chinese means power and status. And there are two things about it. One thing was that the Han Dynasty, long ago, before Qing Dynasty and Ming Dynasty, the first Chinese dynasty, Han Dynasty, the first founder of Han Dynasty was, the emperor was called Liu Bang. You know, and then the mother, when he was pregnant with Liu Bang, or before she was pregnant, I don't know which came first, she dreamt that a big serpent came to her. She dreamt of this big serpent. And then after that, she was pregnant with the king, pregnant with
Yes.
Liu Bang. Yeah. And then this guy became the first founder of the Han Dynasty. And the serpent thing in Chinese has great significance of power and status. The dukes or the royalties, they will wear a cloak, wear a cape. That is what we call in Chinese a 紫蟒袍. That means it's a purple serpent robe. So the color purple, we know that, whether is it in Caesar's time, whether it was in Greece, it was all about power and status. But the thing about snake is also about status. I think partly also it's because that dragon belongs to the emperor,
Yes.
You can't be a dragon, so at least you can be a snake that is like quite close, my guess, yeah. So it's definitely a symbol of status. So this whole thing, this whole chair we're sitting on, even the small symbol that we have here is really bringing us back to the times of the aristocrats in China. Am I right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, I'd like to reiterate the imperial setting. I really like the way it's been described. And I couldn't have described any better.
Right.
So well done.
Thank you. Well, they really, so my clients over the past week when they came over here, I haven't explained what these chairs are, okay? They came over here and they sat down. Some of them will sit down for the entire afternoon. I think it's really giving people a chance to relive the lives or the times of what it means to be, how it feels to be like an aristocrat. We don't get that chance nowadays anymore, you know? Right?
It's difficult.
Yeah. So, okay, this is a set, am I right? These tables came with the chair.
Yes.
So what about these tables that we're looking at?
Okay, we're looking at a pair. Again, what I did not mention, to find a pair of these chairs, it's also very rare because they come as a pair.
Right.
Very rare. And here we have, again, a pair, and these are tall tea tables. Now, you can see this, the base, there's a middle shelf,
yes,
and there's the top. When we look at the base, you would see that all the joints are what you mentioned earlier, Lego joints.
Yeah.
So it's been brought to perfection. It's a beautiful geometric design which is repeated. Mm-hmm. The patina is exceptional. You see that it's been used, and this is a confirmation of the time. Again, I would say that this would be the same period, 150 years old. The lacquer is not as thick as the one of the chairs, but beautiful. And you can see the timber, as I can see it here.
Yep.
Again, we're talking about beautiful elmwood. And these three trays, the top one, I think it's the best. And the reason why, it has sort of a scallop edge.
Yeah.
And the scallop edge, would only this be for beauty, or would it serve for something else? And just thinking a bit, you see, it would not allow this glass to go and to spill.
Right.
And so, if
absolutely,
this,
yeah.
And if this is the reason, which I think it is, imagine underneath this table there would possibly be a beautiful carpet.
Oh.
So they tried to prevent that the liquid and the spillage of the liquid would ruin the carpet.
Good thinking, yeah.
Because if it was the floor, it's okay. It's nothing special. You just clean it up. But something like this, because it had, in my reading, a beautiful rug, maybe even a silk rug.
Right.
So when you come, please make the time also to observe, to go to the details of this tall tea table. Now, when we look at the feet, they have a sort of a hoofed feet. So
yes.
they're not the simple one, sort of squarish that go to the floor. They have this little detail which is absolutely very beautiful and very evident. Again, the technique, you call it, and I like the terminology, the Lego technique. It's very clear and representative.
Right. So the attention to details.
Yes.
We don't even no one makes table like that anymore.
Impossible.
Because I really like this thing. If anyone was to push their glass, it will be stopped. If anyone spills, it might be saved a little bit at least. So everything is retained on this platform.
Yes.
So the attention to details is remarkable.
It's functional, and at the same time is beautiful, because by creating this little sort of frame, they made it very special. And also here, we see these continuous steps.
Actually, these steps are unnecessary in terms of use.
Unnecessary, but beautiful. There's a beautiful balance and combination between aesthetics and use.
Okay.
And this would serve, to put plates, to put cakes that you would possibly have, or to put documents. I imagine two merchants seated here and finalizing a deal, And as they're discussing, then they put something in writing, and here they would then put the papers and continue to have their teas. Beautiful.
Right. I have placed something on the tray. I find it very usable. Yeah. So I placed something here actually. Just nice what I placed. I asked this from Mastering last night.
Yes.
He came on asking me this morning, am I done with it? No, I said the show is tonight. I'm not done with it yet. I placed something here, so it's a very good use of the furniture actually. It's very smart for them to do it in the past. So I got Mastering's permission to bring out some symbols of power. Since we are talking about this set of chairs, this set of tables, it definitely belongs to the aristocrats in the past and what they use about it. So friends, if you're online now, you'll be fortunate to see these are Mastering's seals. S-E-A-L-S. Anyway, you were talking about if they were signing contract, they don't sign in the past, they put on their seals.
Yes.
So these are Mastering seals, and they represent power and authority. So I was just placing on the second platform. What I have here, a few kinds of seals. Some of them might be more familiar. They might be more familiar. One of them, there are two kinds of seals. One bears Mastering's name. We call it 名章. That means that it has the name, Mastering's name, 云龙子. So we have a few of that. Then the rest is what we call 贤章. That means that it brings out his ambitions, his wishes, and so on. So like this is one of his oldest seals. You can take a look. Yeah. This is signature seal. This is also his signature seal. It's Yun, right? You can see it. Of course, of very good stone. And the rest we have what we call 贤章. That means that it can be prosperity, it can be, let's say, it can be fish, it's a symbol. There's a cute one. It can be happiness, and it can be, let's see, we have a few happiness, and then we have a big auspiciousness, it's called 大吉. Yeah. All these were carved by Xi Lingyingse, one of the best craftsmen for seals. So these are the seals that you will find on Mastering's paintings as well. So these are also symbols of power. I think that's how
we are
this...
surrounded tonight by power. Power because of the seals, power because of the chairs, power because of this beautiful, tall tea table.
Yeah.
Power behind us.
Yeah. So you really got to come and experience this, because I think it's a great chance for you to experience how people were experiencing the life of aristocrats in the past. So you can come here and enjoy. I'm not sure whether this will be here tomorrow, but you can definitely, sorry, not tomorrow, Thursday. You can definitely come and enjoy. And talking about seals and talking about contracts and all this stuff, that let's say in the past that they were making a deal here, doing contracts here. Now they have to have each will have their own seals, and they will stamp it with the vermilion. I will explain later. And this is the thing, only with this seal, then the deal can go through. Only with the seal of approval, then the deal can, the energy can flow, let's say. So a lot of people ask, especially the more frequent art collectors of Mastering, sometimes they don't just talk about a painting, they talk about how many seals that the painting has. For instance, this one behind us, you can see, just at the top left-hand corner, you see 4 seals there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's one more there, 5. So there's a lot of seals going on. The more seals it has, more people will actually want to buy it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, more seals of approval. And it's also through these kind of seals that allows the energies from, we talk about, when you do fengshui, the energy from the surroundings and the universe will come to you. But why? How? Who gives the stamp of approval? Who is allowing? Even you pass by custom, your passport, there's a seal there. Now you can pass. Without this, you're illegal, right? Then you have. So these are the seals that allow energy from this world to go on to the next world, and energy from the surroundings to come to you. So with these seals, it's possible. And if you bring back the Qing dynasty, these seals were frequently used. Without these seals, only with this seal, this is the emperor's seal, this is the whose seal, and so on. So these seals are important, and they are symbols of power. They are the ones that give you access. They are the ones that have give you access or the power from the universe into Mastering's paintings and then into your life. That is the thing. Talking about seals, of course, we have something that is on the 3rd layer that also has a seal. Am I right? Okay, let me bring this here. Yeah. Okay, we also have a seal. Oosh. This is antique.
This is again a Qing Dynasty beautiful jar.
This is from Qing Dynasty as well.
This is Qing Dynasty without any doubts. People would even think that this is a Ming period, which is a period before the Qing Dynasty. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. It has the same proportion. It's beautiful, but again, in my opinion, this is definitely 100% a Qing Dynasty jar.
Jar.
What would this be used for? I mean, if we look carefully and we know a little bit of the history, this would be used, again, in important houses. And it would contain either wine, and I don't think everybody in those days had the possibility of having wine at home or oil. Now, imagine a
So,
piece,
sorry, so it was used for wine or oil?
either wine
one.
or oil.
Okay.
Now, when you look at something like this, it's provincial. It wasn't the most important kiln in Beijing. It was possibly a provincial one.
Okay.
But look at the quality and the proportion of this piece. We have this beautiful rounded base, relatively small. And as it goes up, you just find this bulbous body.
Yeah.
And then we have this spout. Look at the spout, how proportionate it is versus the body. And then we have these loops, and we have 4 loops. So I ask myself, what were the loops for? For decoration? Cannot be. This might have also have another use, and I think the real use is that it had handles, so possibly made in iron from one side to the other, and it would basically allow the jars to be carried from one place to the other, or to pour,
Or probably they were hanging up.
or to pour the wine. Now, when we look at this jar, it's in perfect condition. I mean, one can imagine that pieces of furniture, if treated well, would come into our days in perfect condition.
Yes.
But a jar would be very, very rare.
And it's
You know,
porcelain.
and this is porcelain. This
So
is
the chances of it
being damaged are
knocking into something.
very, very high. This is in perfect condition.
The ones we see in the museums,
Yes.
they tend to be in pieces, huh?
They tend to be basically glued together.
There was a Ming Dynasty thing,
Yes.
because Ming Dynasty was the one that actually sent to discover Southeast Asia. You know, they had like 200 over ships that came over here, and then they started the trading with the Arabs and all this stuff. So there was a boat that sank near Sumatra area. I forgot the name. They called it Black something. Then from there, they managed to dig it up, and it was our Asian Civilization Museum.
Yes.
Yeah, that contained. If you want to go and take a look, Asian Civilization Museum, they actually collected a lot of those porcelain, the silver coins, and so on and so many, like few thousands of pieces, but they're all broken lah. You know, because
They're all
I mean they are all the way down there. So by
Yes.
the time they excavate, it's all broken. So this is not too far. This is Qing Dynasty.
Yes.
And porcelain, the one thing that is so easy to be destroyed.
Very, very easy.
I'm going to keep this away for tomorrow because
Yes, I think you
I don't know.
should.
Yeah.
Let me add
scared, yeah.
something very simple. Look at the decoration. So we have a base, and the color of the base is sort of a grayish green.
Yep.
And then we have this beautiful ink color designs at
Yes.
the bottom, and then it goes on the body, and then we have again other decoration different from the body around the neck. Now the neck is wide, and here you have the rim, which is rather thick.
Right.
Proportion, and not only proportion, beauty. Look at the luster of the way that it has been made. Here we see the ceiling. This is
Okay.
a wax red ceiling.
So this is so this jar, Qing Dynasty, we can be quite certain that if it contains wine,
Yes.
oil.
Yes.
It must have belonged to a rich family.
Definitely,
Right?
definitely.
So, and the designs, you know, as you were saying, if it's just for practical use, they wouldn't have bothered to actually design it. Probably they pour the contents inside and then they'll pour it from the snout, something like that. Feels a bit grease, huh? Yeah. So we have this thing here, but this was not part of, this patch here was not part of this whole design.
It was not. This is the authorization given for it to leave the country. So again, it's just like sealing something important.
Okay, I think this one requires,
Did they need to do that? No, they didn't need it, but why they did it?
This one requires a bit more explanation, huh? So, this is a seal of approval from the Chinese government.
Yes.
Today's Chinese government.
Customs.
Today's custom, today's Chinese government, that they allow this piece of antique, this piece of artifact to leave the borders.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So without this,
cannot leave the country.
Without this, they'll be knocking on my doors. Yeah.
No, no.
Okay.
The smuggler would be arrested, but with the authorization of the customs. Now, this possibly has reached Singapore maybe 50 years ago, 70 years ago. We don't know.
Right.
And we don't even know if it was the first port where this jar was brought.
Authorized it that, okay, this thing can leave China.
Can leave China. This is what it means.
Okay, so this is the seal of approval.
Seal of approval.
So now what we see, because of so many years later, we see only a patch of wax that is remaining.
Yes.
But you know, probably before that, it was, you know, it was a more clear seal that's going on. Okay, so only with this then can this leave China. So we see, once again, we see the seals. They are really something that, you know, allow things to travel.
Allow
without
things
that seal,
to leave the country.
Yeah, without that seal, this dear jar here will never have a chance to leave China. And of course, if you're talking without the seals, we won't have the chance that this energy can go through, the contracts cannot be signed, and so on. So these seals things are really very important.
Very important. And important was the house, where it was initially held, a piece like this, and it was held in my opinion, in great esteem because of the beauty. Now, one other thing that I would like to highlight, but when you come here, you would be able to see it yourself. It's the crackling that you see, the cracking here.
Right.
And this is basically small cracks on the surface, which will signify the passage of time. So for collector, this element here that you see all over the surface of the jar is very, very important.
Was it parts of the design?
No, it was not.
Okay.
No. As it was made, it was absolutely perfect, but utilizing it and the passage of time, and again, because of the elements, then you see this cracking here, which is very, very beautiful. It gives another aspect to the glaze.
Okay, I see. I see.
Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind, Mr. Khan. Would you be so kind to just put your hand in the jar and feel the inside, if there's anything that you need to feel?
Okay. It won't be those scenarios that I cannot get my hand out, right?
Well, you can try, but I think it will get it out. You should get it out. There shouldn't be any problem.
So, just all the way in?
All the way, and then touch the side.
The side?
Yes.
The side?
Is there anything
that
you see, that you feel inside, which you don't feel outside?
Here, which is, I think, which is about here, at this spot inside, there is like a, you know, as a step.
Very good.
There's a step to it.
It's a step.
And it goes one round.
Yes, it goes one
There's
round.
one whole rim inside.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep this here for you to try, because I'm really scared that this this antique would, you know, rough
What
people.
is the purpose? I just wanted basically you to feel it. Very simple.
The purpose?
This tells us a story of the construction of this Qing dynasty wine jar.
Okay, so
it was made in two pieces.
Right.
Basically half and half, then it was joined, and then all the various process took place.
I
so
see.
these are two pieces joined together.
Oh, but you know, from the outside you can't see that.
You can't see it.
So the workmanship is
Perfect. perfect. But the Chinese are known to have the most beautiful porcelain in the world.
That was one of the things that made Europe lost half of its silver.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely so.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. Not too sure where I will keep this because it's porcelain and it's antique. So I'm very scared because sometimes when they come here, it can get a bit rowdy.
Right.
So, but I don't know. Maybe I'll think about it. I'll think about where I will keep this thing. I'm definitely not going to use it. So we'll see. But definitely, you are most welcome to the gallery to enjoy this Qing Dynasty chairs and this table as you have been doing. But we have a program now, or we have an activity now. Yeah, we would like, as like how the Kerala lamp that we use, how the bell for the monastery that we used. Of course, Master Yun has been using the Indian dowry chairs and Tibetan chairs for a long time.
Yes.
For the benefits. If we want the antiques to come alive or to continue to interact with us today, right? If not, just go to the museum, you know, that's there. Or you can just go online to see. It's pretty much the same. You can get a touch it and feel it. We are inviting clients to come to the gallery to sit on these chairs and feel like an aristocrat, right? With the background of Master Yun's art. Not with this, I'm going to take this away. We just get someone to take a photo of yourself with these chairs, maybe you and your partner, and you post it on your Facebook, on your Instagram, yeah. And you checked in the location, you checked in to Lotus on Water, our location, as some of my clients have already done so. And if you do that and set it on public mode, let everyone know that, you know, there's this couple of Qing Dynasty chairs here that's awesome. Take it with the entire painting. Because, you know, I guess when back in the days, they would have, it couldn't be a plain wall. There must have been something at the backdrop as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be a 3-panel thing. There's a painting in the center, there's a couplet, 2 rows of calligraphy. It's a classic thing. So now I placed Master Yun's painting over here. And you can get to enjoy this thing. Just post on Facebook, post on Instagram, and you checked in into Lotus on Water here. And I will give you half a bottle of Laurent-Perrier champagne.
Wow.
I would say it's 1 bottle actually. It's just a bit smaller, so I don't need to get drunk and push my porcelain away. 37.5 cl Laurent-Perrier champagne, La Cuvée.
Oh, wonderful.
Because for this is advertisement. Laurent-Perrier for 200 over years, they have never worked with any artist before. The only artist they worked with is with Master Yun. So this thing is a gift for our dear clients who come over here to take a photo and check in, let everyone know about this great thing, and then we will give you this 7.5 cl Laurent-Perrier champagne. So 1 Facebook account entitled to 1. And this thing will only be until Sunday, until 14th of November. So tomorrow the gallery is not open, Wednesday. So Thursday onwards, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. I think only have about 30 bottles of this mini champagne left. Good for 2 people to share. Come by, let us know after 3 p.m. Take photo of this, we give you half a bottle.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are combining all the arts and elements together. These antique chairs 150 years ago, Master Yun's fengshui paintings with all the seals that we talked about that allows the energy from the universe to come to us, and of course Laurent-Perrier champagne. We are bringing different cultures together.
But art is universal.
Yeah.
Art is not referred to one aspect. And art talks nicely one to another, paintings with furniture, with a simple jar. Look how beautiful this jar is.
It's quite heavy, huh?
It is
That
quite
means
heavy.
full solid thing, huh?
Imagine, and on top of that, there
Oh,
would
good
be the
God.
wine inside.
That's why I suppose you're correct that they have to use the iron stuff to
They
actually
have
hang
to
it up.
use the iron out.
I'm guessing that they use the iron things to hang it. So maybe they have the wine and the oil there, so they just tilt it and they pour, and then they just leave it there.
Yes.
It's very heavy, yeah.
Very heavy.
It's
I
very-
mean, it's
it's
quite
very,
a
very-
thick porcelain.
Oh, maybe I'm weak. Yeah.
No, it's not being weak. It's
All right. Yeah. So this is the, we have friends here. Yvonne actually already came yesterday
yes.
to take a photo with the Qing Dynasty chairs and tables and the paintings I've already posted, set on public status, and yeah, that's great, yeah. So she already has gotten her
Bottle.
37.5 cl Laurent-Perrier champagne. Jenny says that it's an ingenious design on the carving of this table. Salute on the carpentry works.
Salute on the carpentry work.
I think that even today, not a lot of people can create something like that.
The mortise and tenon, and again, please go and take a look, is the most complicated technique. And if you see the perfection of this, the holes on the opposite side are absolutely perfect. I mean, I don't know.
How did they do it? Yeah.
Experience. The more you do it, the more you get to become a master. And it was a master who created this chess,
right.
Nobody else. That's the reason why this is an important order and is for a very high-to-do family, aristocrats, I would say.
Also,
all business people.
Probably in the past they didn't have handphones. I mean, together they had handphones, they are not distracted, so they won't be looking at all this all the time. They have all the time to actually go and find out what's going on with this thing. And artisans in China, generations after generations. So he learned from the father learned from the grandfather, and so on. So he's inherited generations of workmanship and experience accumulated on a whole set of this chairs. It's amazing.
And most possibly, children started to learn how to make something, and throughout their lives continue to do chairs, or they continue to do tables, or continue to do. So they really reach a point where almost blinded, they will still be able to do it.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, of course.
No, I tell you a joke, okay, since you talk about this. You know, the main thing that Lotus on Water sells, feng shui collections, part of the whole collection is jade. This they know, jade pendants, jade rings. So, okay, feng shui is not attached to any particular religion. It's actually a science and a whole art thing, because it existed way before a lot of religions happened. And are you Catholic, Mr. Pino?
I am.
You're Catholic?
I am.
This story might be funnier to Catholics.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so I have Catholic clients as well. And because, you know, majority of the people who prescribe to feng shui, they are Buddhist or Taoist. So most of the time, people think that feng shui is a Buddhist Taoist thing, but it's not actually. So we have a lot of jade pendants that are like with Guan Yin sculptures, all this stuff. So one of my Catholic clients, long ago, she was saying, "Oh, is it possible that if you carve a jade pendant that is like Mother Mary?" I said, "Yeah, because I have the source. I will start from the source. It's possible." Then we face a difficulty. We face a huge difficulty, because what you were saying, if they are blinded, if you blindfold them, you give them a piece of jade. My craftsmen, Guan Yin, they will cover because they are trained. So when we send the photo of, okay, this is Mother Mary, then we got that token from Vatican City. This is Mother Mary, carve something like this. But because of the muscle memory, they tried so many times. The Mother Mary that they carve all look like Guan Yin's.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the absolute truth. It's true. I did it because, okay, in the past, this is not very common. So I didn't take a photo of all these archives. But in the end, we managed to find a talented group of, okay, so young masters, young apprentice, grandmasters. We found this center group of carvers, experienced enough, but not so there yet that you without seeing can carve a Guan Yin. They managed to carve a Mother Mary pendant.
Oh, wonderful.
I have a Mother Mary pendant here.
Wonderful.
That looks like Mother Mary, hopefully.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that's the thing. Yeah, you know, you're bound up by experience. So these are definitely works of generations of experience accumulated together.
To get perfection.
Yeah.
This is perfection.
I want to share with you one more symbol of power. I don't know whether I have enough time for it, because every time we go chit-chatting, you know, then time goes by very fast. 1 hour goes by very fast. You see the 5th episode anyway. Before that, laurent-perrier champagne for you, Mr. Giuseppe De Giosa. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. French champagne.
Wonderful French champagne.
1812. One of the top few champagnes in the world. If you look at any different index, they'll either be top 3 or top 5. They're like there, you know. So that's great. One of the more symbols of power is that's why on purpose I place something here, this thing. This is actually some of my clients will be more familiar. This is actually a raw white inkstone. Raw as in it's not carved yet. Or this is what's remaining of what's carved. White inkstone is kind of tough rock, Tuff. the ones on Easter Island, you know, the big heads thing, those are tough rock. So majority of them is supposed to be black, gray, or brown. Very small percentage will be white. And talking about power, we're talking about seals and talking about red ink in the past. In the Qing dynasty, since we're talking about Qing dynasty, only the emperor can use red ink.
Only the emperor?
Let's say I'm a provincial government. I'm in charge of Ang Mo Kio, let's say. And I'm going to submit a report to you. They all have to submit reports. In Chinese, they call it 奏折. So they will use black ink to write. We need more money from the federal government, or what. So they use black ink, and they would grind their black ink on something like this. I think people will be familiar. It's a black ink stone. Anyway, I have new stock. We just sold a couple, so you better go and grab them fast. It's a Mars quality. Black ink, write your proposal and what you need from the federal government, or what you need to propose. When it reaches the higher authorities, they will still use the black ink stone, but they use the blue ink. In Chinese, we call it laurent-perrier, blue ink that marks whether I agree, whether I will submit this to the emperor or not. But because in the Chinese society, it was that one guy in the end. It was the emperor who makes all the decisions. So unfortunately, you meet with a terrible emperor, that few years is going to be very terrible. If you meet with a wise emperor, if by God's graces he's going to be very long life, like Kangxi, you know, one of the emperors, then he's going to be very prosperous, because in the end he will be the one who will make all the decisions. And when he received those reports, and his hard copies, there's no email in the past, he will use the red ink to say whether he agrees, noted thanks, or he disagrees. So he is the only one in the whole country, whole state, that can use red ink. It's pretty much like a seal of approval. That's why the ink is red in color as well. So they will use this thing that is carved out of this white ink stone into something like this. This one.
Beautiful.
Qianlong, the grandson of Kangxi, he has a one piece that's about half this size, about this size, that's going around in the auction houses for about, that was 8 years ago, it was auctioned at about 5 million. That was 8 years ago. So this thing in the past, in the early part of the Qing dynasty, only the emperors can use. And it was an absolute symbol of power and authority. So they will grind the red ink on top, and then they will, on the report, they will say, okay, noted, noted. Usually it just be noted. In Chinese, it's 知道了, means I know of all this. I'm aware, and that's it. So that is how he ran the entire country, with the help of the white ink stone and the ink. It was only in the later part of Qing dynasty that commoners can also use red ink. So it's not very common back in the earlier days. So this is the thing. Power.
Amazing.
This is a bigger piece. We have something that's smaller, but usually my clients, when they choose, they will definitely go for the ones that are much whiter and with a lot of red lines. So the piece that you have is definitely a more precious piece than the one here. And
because of the color and the size?
Because of the color, the size, and the red lines that's there. Very popular collection to have, especially when we get closer to the Chinese New Year. I think it's in, I keep on explaining to my clients sometimes that, you know, to be wealthy, it's good, it's very good. But after a while, people will want to know that they want to have a little bit of benefactors and power to protect their wealth. I mean, see what's happening in China now. Some of the richest people they're not persecuted, but they are, you know, strange things are happening. So you got to have some power and authority to actually maintain the status of your wealth. Just like this check. Just like the inkstone.
Imperial setting.
The imperial setting, yeah.
I like this expression very much.
So probably, I think we're going to keep this thing here for the rest of the few days. And you can come here, as I mentioned, take a photo. In the past, in the Qing dynasty, what I saw when the old... Have you seen how they painted people in the past?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so if... I'm not sure whether Martin collected any of the paintings from the Qing dynasty. They'll paint, let's say, husband and wife.
Yes.
Okay, so they'll be seated very properly, and you have to be in a certain position. The husband will always be like this. No smile. No smile. The wife would always be, I think will always be like this. No smile. Yeah, and maybe there might be people standing behind, maybe not. And very proper, and that's how they painted them in the past. And they have to paint an extra feature on their face, which is they have here the cheekbone. They have to draw 2 lines, regardless whether is it real or not. They have to draw 2 lines here.
And why is the
because yeah? So this is everything today we are talking about has got to do with power, authority, aristocrat. Because in the Chinese feng shui belief that cheekbone, if it's protruding, this person has greater power and authority. Yeah, it's true. So you have to draw that person who is sitting on this chair, not smiling, to have these 2 lines here. Because definitely he is someone of authority. Whether he has a cheekbone or not, you have to draw these 2 lines. So come by here. Anyway, the photos that my clients will be thinking they are very nice. You know, it's very sweet and lovely. So if you want to come by here and pretend or relive the life of Qing aristocrats, then you can. They've been watching too much Qing dramas anyway. They will know what to do.
But they would be able to relate. And again, just by...
Once you sit here, actually, I think you can feel it. Yeah, you can really feel it. They loved it so much, the chairs, especially the guys, you know, the gentlemen, the bosses, or in Chinese, in Singapore, what we call the taokes. Like, taoke, how do you say? Just, it's bosses. You know, there are several enterprises in Singapore that one boss, they have to take care of 300 people. It's a Chinese boss. So they love this kind of chairs. They can feel it, they can feel the power.
But what I was absolutely interested about, how the Chinese define the headrest. They call it brain. And then I was thinking, but why do they call it brain? And then it came absolutely natural. Because as I lean, I just feel that the back of my head is comfortable. And therefore...
Okay. Mr. Pino is referring to this headrest here.
Yes. And in particular, this point here.
This portion here. This portion. Actually, it's slanted. You have to come and feel it yourself. They call it in Chinese the ta now. Ta, that means that you will park it here.
Yes.
Now, that means we know it's the brain. So you park your brain here.
Yes.
Is it because you're meditating or they were thinking? I don't know, probably you're thinking, you were like,
can I say,
what should I have for lunch?
It's so relaxing.
Yeah.
And imagine people, again, who had to deal, and they had to think. They would just put back their head, close their eyes for a couple of minutes, and then they would have the energy to say, okay, we go ahead into what we're doing.
But I have a, I'm also thinking is it the physique of the Qing or the Ming people back then? Were they short? Probably were shorter.
Possibly.
So it might have been an easier feat than now because.
I mean, for me, it's perfect. I think it was.
No, you're taller than me.
Slightly taller than you, slightly.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a very good headrest.
Yes.
Yeah. And the angle that they find, it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And these people didn't even get a chance to buy a good class bungalow. Oh my God, yeah, that's terrible. But it's very good workmanship and it lasts for more than a century. So it is really something you want to come here to experience. You sit here without any instructions given to you. You would be able to somehow find your place, where to put your legs, where to put your hands.
And be absolutely comfortable. And one other name for these chairs is Northern Official Hat. Why Northern Official Hat? It's interesting because then you would see the opposite, Southern Official Hat. And actually, the concept of the hat, we see it in the Song Dynasty.
Right.
We're talking about from the year 1000 to 1300.
Thereabout, yeah.
And when we look at the official, actually the kind of hat that they had is very similar to a chair.
Yes.
So in other words, you would see the back, then you would see the seat, and then you would see the front. But in the Ming Dynasty, they needed to differentiate this kind of chairs from the southern. And this is northern because you see the protruding part here and here, which the southern would not have.
Oh,
This would be all rounded.
southern.
Southern.
So it takes reference from the Song Dynasty.
Yes.
Song Dynasty, what Mr. Pino was saying that it's what we call the northern official hats. It means in Chinese it's called 北方的 or 北宋 the 官帽椅. 官帽 is official hat.
Yes.
And if you watch enough drama, you will know that it's back then when the officials will have their hat and these long pointy things by the side. Okay. Yeah, so it's an imitation or it's a caricature of what was going on.
Yes.
Do you know why the Song Dynasty people will have that thing?
No, I don't. Because they didn't want other people to talk bad about them? Was that the
How do you know?
reason?
Yeah. The emperor doesn't want the officials to be, because he will knock into it. So everyone will be everyone will be standing in court with ample social distance. Really, yeah. So because he just, I forgot which emperor was it. He just hated when people make small talks.
Yes.
Yeah, if there's anything, say in the open. So it was a full thing to create that social distance. See, they had social distance back then.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, so this is the northern one. Hopefully, in further episodes, we have the chance to make a southern. We'll talk about southern chairs, hopefully,
Yes.
and you will see a drastic difference what's going on.
Absolutely, yes.
Right. Okay. Wow. You see, evening of chit chat, we have gone to see Jenny is saying that after what Pino is saying, that Khan is more aware of not having the antique vase on the tabletop for sure. Yeah, I've watched enough Chinese drama to know that it will not end well. Yeah. I'm not going to put the antique vase on the tabletop. Probably I'll still put it there for people to see, yeah, and experience.
Yes.
Yeah. But most importantly, we know that the white ink stone and all this will give you the power, but you can also come here to experience the life of aristocrat back in the Qing Dynasty. Come over here until Sunday. Sunday is the last day. Take a photo, post it on Facebook and Instagram. Check in to Lotus on Water Public, and then let us know. We'll give you a 37.5 CL laurent-perrier champagne. Good?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
See? Cheers. Next week, same time, 7:30, museum in Lotus.
Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you.